Welcome everyone to the third show of 11:11 at the Oracle May. Today I have two very special guests. I couldn't have them one, they come as a package. Chiedza and Tariro. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. For those who don't know who you guys are, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay. So we are Afronomads, as Rufaro said. Basically, we share travel content. We're travel curators. We also have a travel company called Afrinomads Travel. So yeah, it's basically travel. That's Afrinomads, pretty much. I don't know if you're in more. No, that's it. Yeah, we're travel content creators based in Zimbabwe. Yeah, based in Zimbabwe.
Based in Zim. Yeah. How was the idea of Afronomads born?
Okay, so we started Afronomads in 2017. For us, it was just like a page, Instagram then was just like, sharing for fun. So we wanted to just like share our travels in Zim. And then when we came back from uni, we wanted to travel Zim a lot because Chiedza was in Australia at that time and I had just come from South Africa. So we wanted to travel a bit more of Zim, and we just realized that there's not a lot of information out there specifically about places in Zim that you can travel to. So that's when we were like, okay, you know what, we can actually make this Afronomads a thing by just sharing content from Zim. So that's pretty much how we started. Zim and Africa, more of Zimbabwe and Africa as a whole. It's what we wanted to do, just to showcase, give out information when we can. Yeah, but pretty much that was it. That's how it really started. It wasn't like something that we were like, oh, we want to do this. It wasn't very intentional, to be honest. It was just one of those things. Let's do it, it's fun, and then now we're here.
But information is like crucial here, because I get what you mean about there's nothing. Like there are actually bargain places that you can go to that fit into your budget, but no one ever knows. All we hear are these places that are like $900 per person per night. So I mean, information definitely, especially when it comes to local tourism, I think it's like really needed. What did you guys do prior to Afronomads? Because you said this wasn't intentional, it just came to be. So obviously you had other things you did before.
So I was a researcher. I worked in research, social research to be specific. And that's what I did. Did a lot of research work, going to rural areas and doing that stuff. So I worked in the industry a little bit before we actually started working for ourselves. I was working in travel already, but before that, I was also a chef, food nutrition and chef and whatnot. But that's pretty much what we did before that, before we finally said, okay, let's drop everything and focus on this.
But I don't think you really dropped everything, did you? I think you just combined your experiences.
You could say that, actually. You're right. You could say that. You really are.
Because there's the researcher, and then there's the person who does the cooking and the traveling, and you just kind of combined it. And I think it's actually like quite a good, it's a good combo. And what challenges did you face when you decided, like, no, this is what we want to do? Like, what were the challenges that you actually faced?
I think the first challenge would definitely be us knowing that, okay, we're not going to have stable incomes now. Do you know what I mean? Because you're now taking yourself out of like security, where like every end of the month I'm getting something. And now we're putting ourselves into this, like I feel like Zimbabwe is like a jungle. Do you know what I mean? Now we're putting ourselves in the lion's den. Now we have to figure it out. So I think that was the biggest challenge, mentally preparing for that. That was the biggest challenge, like saying, like, are we going to be able to do it? Because working for someone else and then working for yourself, you really need to prepare yourself mentally. So I think that was the biggest challenge, because knowing that we could do it, we knew what we needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but believing that you could do it, it's a whole thing altogether. So I think that was the biggest challenge, I would say. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we didn't really have a lot to consider. Like a lot of things that were like, oh, this could go. It was just that telling our
The Zim
family,
jungle.
yeah, and obviously telling our family that, okay, we want to focus on this. We're so lucky that everyone was so understanding and everyone was supportive, you know, with
That's
what we
nice.
needed. Yeah, so I think that was like, I think it pushed us more and it helped us to just jump into it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally get you about what do you call it? Zim. Zim is more like a rainforest, hey, where you don't know if a plant is toxic or not. Are you stepping on a snake or is that ground? Oh, wait a minute, that's panther. It's like,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
we're still pushing. And I think a lot of people, and I'm sure you did something like this on your channel, if I'm not mistaken. You have a video about this on your YouTube channel. And it's a question that I think everybody wants to ask. How do you afford all that traveling?
So you know, for us, travel is a passion. Like we love to travel. So we save. We actually save money to travel. We always put aside money every month so that we can travel. And we're always realistic with like where we're going. We're like, okay, this is how much we have right now. So we have to have that budget. We're not going to go somewhere like Sharias because we think we can go there. So we always look at, budget places. There's so many places that you can visit in Zimbabwe that are so affordable. So we always have a budget of where we want to travel. So it's not necessarily like, oh man, we have money. And sometimes we do get like freebies, but like it's not a lot. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. We have gotten some free stays, but like it's not like a lot all the time. Yeah. So it's more like a priority to us. Like when you prioritize something, you make sure you put aside money for it. So for us, it's a priority. We know we want to travel all the time. So you have to save money to do that. And again, just to add on to what Tara said, I think people think that it's expensive to travel. I mean, it's expensive if you decide, okay, I want to go somewhere this weekend. Of course, it's going to be expensive. Yeah. Do you get what I mean? Because you're not prepared for it. But if you plan months in advance, or like if you plan like beginning of the year, okay, I want to go to these 3 places, whatever, right? Or however many places you want to go. You start researching on how much you need to put aside per place. Like right now is definitely the time to try. Okay, not exactly. Well, not exactly because the economy. A lot of people lost their jobs and all of that. But on the upside of that, there are a lot of specials going on at the same time. So I mean, if you can jump on it, I would say jump on a lot of these specials because some of these places, it's unfortunate that we are able to travel to these places because of the specials and not any other time when things are okay. Yeah. So it's like good and bad at the same time. I don't know how to put it. So
yeah. I get you. Like there's always an upside to everything. Like there is a pandemic, granted, but there's always like there are people suffering, but there are also people gaining from this. And then there is also something that can be gained from it collectively. So it's kind of like a circle of life because when everything is normal, there's still people who are suffering and others who are gaining. So it's just been a bit of a flip side. And talking on the pandemic, I mean, travel is your job as well as your passion. How did the pandemic affect this?
Yeah, no, it really did affect. It really did because beginning of last year, January is when we started our company as more of a business. Like we were doing group trips and all of that, but we weren't really focused on it. But last year in January is when we decided to just let go of everything else and really start this for ourselves. So 3 months into that, then we're on lockdown. So you can imagine how hard that was for us because we were already thing, there's nothing coming in, So for the next 3 months, like in March, April, May, June, we're at home. So that means no income, no nothing, no whatever. And we just left our jobs like 5 months ago. Do you get what I mean? So
Yeah.
you can imagine the stress, and it was just a lot. But I mean, at that time we took that time as well, to focus on other things, how we wanted our business to be, like how we started working on, a lot of things, Afronomads, see when things get better, we knew that, okay, we had to be prepared, like how travel will be like during a pandemic for a lot of people. So yeah, so it was hard, but then it gave us time to think of other
I was
things.
affected because I know I wanted to go to Kariba.
I know. I see. Yes.
I'm so heartbroken.
It sucked a lot, but yeah.
I hope you're bringing those packages this year. Hey, I really do.
Yeah, definitely. We just hope that this is the last lockdown we're in, so that we can, start again.
After being so used to traveling, how was the lockdown on your mental health? Because I mean, you guys were used to traveling Zim, and then I think you've been to Kenya as well, and Tanzania and Mozambique. I'm not sure, but I think Mozambique.
Yeah.
And obviously, traveling is like, it's your passion, it's your job, so you're used to moving around, and then now you're stuck at home.
Yeah, it really took a toll on us, honestly. Like, there's so much anxiety. Like, oh my goodness. Okay, so what's life going to look like? The thing is, we didn't know. When the lockdown started, no one knew what was going to happen in the next month. No one knew what was going to happen in the second month. No one knew anything. So to be honest, it was really frustrating. Like, mentally, honestly, I was always anxious. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. So what is life going to look like? And it was just so hard, to be honest, at first. And but I think like it was hard at first, but then we quickly had to adjust to the new normal. That's just the truth. Like the first month, I won't even lie to you, it was really, really tough. I think for me it was more tough because we had to cancel a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? We had to cancel a lot of things. We had to refund a lot of people their monies and all of that. And this was so hard because you know that you've paid for a lot of things and people trust you and you don't want to lose that trust. Do you know what I mean? So you think, oh my God, what if people are thinking this? What are people going to think if you don't do that, if you don't do? So it's a lot of stress on you, but I mean, we had to calm ourselves down and say, you know what, this is happening to everyone. Exactly. It's not just us. So we needed to just pause and relax a bit. And then we worked on it and decided that it is what it is. Just have to go with the flow. But initially, it was really hard. It was tough, like anxiety, a lot of stress, but just a lot of it got better because once we realized this was what's going on, we just knew that we had to, go with the flow and just.
I think it was worse because like 2020 really had levels, eh? Like it was like you thought last month was bad. Let me show you what this month is bringing. It just continued. It didn't even stop. So I think everyone was just like, you know what? If I wake up tomorrow, God is good. That's it.
Because the thing is that you're thinking that, okay, it's just going to be this much, it's just going to be 1 month. Next month, I'm sure we'll be back on the road, So, and then the next month is like, okay. Next month, wow, okay, we're still here, but we had to learn to live with it, So I guess everyone is learning to live with it now,
adapting to the new normal.
Yeah.
So since, obviously you need to be crossing borders and going places, will you be taking any of the vaccines in order to resume? Because I know that there's the Sinopharm one, but I think there are other ones coming from the EU and India as well, if I'm not mistaken. So will you be taking any of these just so you can actually have that certificate?
I mean, to be honest, the first answer to come to my mind would be yes. But again, you have to be cautious. You can't just go and say like, okay, this is the first thing that should be okay. Yeah, you have to have that on the back of your mind. Okay, am I making the right decision? And is this the good one? Because there are a lot of vaccines that are coming that are not, that are questionable, So you really need to obviously do your research, see what's going on in other parts of the world. Are people receptive to it and whatnot? Would it also work here? Yeah, exactly. So it's a tricky one, right? Not to be honest. Yeah. Like in as much as you want to say jump on the yes, like I'll take it, like obviously I want to travel out of the country. Obviously I want to do all of those things, but at the end of the day, it's just not about me, in as much as I want to take it or whatever. Also need to think of my family. If something happens to me because I wanted to travel and I took this thing, then it doesn't make sense, So I mean, yeah, I would want to take it, but it has to be in the right,
Yeah, because I know for me, I'm watching my cousin and my sister's husband. They took the one in the UK. So I think my cousin has actually taken his second one because he works in healthcare. And well, they all do actually. So I'm not sure if my sister's husband is taking the second one. So we're kind of like watching them.
Yeah.
And then if we see that it's all good, then I know that, okay, I'll probably take that one. Because I'm not saying no to a vaccine, because at the end of the day, vaccines are necessary. We've all had them for different things.
Exactly.
But since there are just so many, I would rather that rush kind of just passes until they're like the three giants of the vaccines. Then I'm like, okay, take one of those. But ultimately, what is the dream for Afronomads like 5 years from now?
Okay, so initially, the reason why we started Afronomads was for people to get information. So we hope that Afronomads will be like, the go-to brand for Zimbabwean travel or, African travel, where you get like literally all the information that you want. So that's pretty much the goal. Just to be like your number one stop, especially for Zimbabwe. We want to be like if anyone is planning, whatever, coming to Zimbabwe, we are a number one spot, whether it's coming from, whatever kind of travel. Do you get what I mean? Whatever, especially for Zimbabweans, we want to cater more for people living in Zimbabwe. We just want to remove that stigma, say like, oh, it's expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but there are ways. Do you get what I mean? So many ways to travel. So we want to be that hub, that information hub, that company, that brand that will give you all that information. And of course, besides that, we also want to grow as a company, have branches across the country, like stuff like that. And like I think that's just the dream for us. But the main reason, the main thing will be like to be the best in what we do. I guess that's everyone's dream, but to really be the best and be black. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Be black and be the best, because not unfortunately, but like the industry has a lot of white people in it, not no offense or anything like that, but really to just be black and young and show an example. Exactly.
Be in an industry where people don't see people like you, but you're actually up there.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I do understand. And I think like travel packages is something that people need, even for across the border, and options as well, because it's so crazy how it can be cheaper for you to fly to Dubai than to fly to Mozambique.
Yeah.
And you're like, how is that possible?
Literally, just there. Yeah.
Like, it's like you said, it's just there. You can drive there, but I have to pay double the amount. So, I think like this will definitely be something needed because it seems like there are more Africans who want to travel Africa.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we're seeing so many places that perhaps aren't shown in the media. So yeah, it'll definitely be something. And where would you like to go that you haven't been to, and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a very hard question because I want to go everywhere.
Choose one.
I mean, Africa for me right now is just where it's at. It's where it's at. I'm not really keen on traveling, like overseas, like, Europe and all of that. Like, I would love to, but Africa for me right now is just where I want to explore. Really want to go. Like, I think one of my dreams is always to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I've been to Tanzania before, but when it comes to experiences, I always wanted to climb like Kilimanjaro. And definitely, I definitely wanted to Kilimanjaro as well. But one country that I think we both really want to go is Rwanda. There's just something so special about that country. I want to explore it, and Rwanda, Namibia, Egypt, Ethiopia. I mean, you can't choose one. It's so hard. It's so hard.
You really can't. I mean, last year I was planning on going to Zanzibar and Dar, both the places, because I have a friend from uni. She's Tanzanian, so she lives in Dar, and she's like, "Nah, you can come through." So I knew like accommodation is like set.
Yeah, sorted. Yeah.
So yeah, and then COVID happened, but we can still plan for this year.
Yeah.
And the last question is kind of like a two-part. Give us 6 tips every traveler must know and 6 places every traveler must go.
So tips, number one is always to plan. Like plan where you want to go. Like choose a destination first. Like if you don't know where you want to go, you're not gonna know what are you planning for. Do you know what I mean? So always plan. That would be number one. Plan your finances, your money. Why? Because once you've decided on a destination, you now know, okay, I might need how much. So that comes into research as well. Doing a bit of research of where you want to go, how much it's gonna cost you. So another tip would be to, pack light. Yeah. I think sometimes a lot of people always think that you have to go with like loads of bags, but like you don't have to, go with a lot of bags when you're traveling. Just pack light, and then you will probably buy some stuff there. Yeah. So yeah, pack light. Another thing would be to be open-minded. You know what I mean? I feel like this is the most important one. Be very open-minded, because whenever you go to, especially another country, because you're basing most of the things that you've seen off your research. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Off of what you've seen online, what other people have done, or whether it's blogs or YouTube, whatever. But sometimes it's not always as it seems. Do you know what I mean? It's not always rosy. It's not always like as easy as 1, 2, 3. It's not. That's just the reality of it. It's not. You might get to a country and then you are faced with like it's pouring, like it's raining. Yeah, exactly. It's raining the whole time, but you checked online and it says February, it doesn't rain. But I mean, like, you can't control the weather. Or just things happen. Things just happen sometimes. So you really need to shift your mind and say, okay, you know what, this is what's happening, but I can turn this around and actually have a good time. Just be open-minded to seeing like, things might happen, but I'm just gonna have fun. Expect the unexpected, basically. Just be free. Just be, just go there with the right mindset. Because if you don't, like, you are gonna hate your holiday. You're gonna be miserable the whole time. So and you have paid a lot of money for it. So it's not worth it. Just be open-minded. Just have fun with whatever that's thrown at you. I think another tip would be to always make copies of your passport, especially when you're going out of the country. Have copies of your passport, because you never know, you might lose your passport, or you might, anything can happen. So it's always good to have copies of your passport or your traveling documents. Yeah. And the last tip, I guess, would be to always have extra money, like emergency money. Like you never know what happens. Just always have extra. Just extra money. If it's travel insurance, if you can get travel insurance, have that, but it's always to have extra money because, like, especially right now, COVID tests, you might overstay because of something, I don't know. You might need money to have a COVID test, you might need to change your flights, you might miss your flight, all of those things. So just always have extra money so that, you're okay after that.
Yeah.
And then you say places, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is very difficult, but I'll say definitely visit based off where we've been, right? Yeah, based off where would definitely say visit Victoria Falls. If you haven't been to Victoria Falls, I think as Zimbabweans we're so lucky and we're so blessed to have that place. So everyone should, at some point in their life should visit Vic Falls. And regional, I'll definitely say Malawi is right up there. One, it's cheap. So I think everyone should go to Cape Maclear. It's so beautiful. It's like value for money. Definitely go to Cape Maclear. So much to do as well there. It's just a really nice, cheap holiday. Yeah, it's very affordable. So it's very affordable. Zanzibar, Zanzibar for sure. So it's a beautiful destination. Yeah, Zanzibar is right up there. You're right. Yeah, Zanzibar. Beautiful. Yeah. What else do you have? And also India. I haven't been, but I've been to India. I think it's great. I've always wanted to go just based on culture. For us, when we travel, we really want to tap into culture, like see what people live like, what they do, what their daily basis. And I feel like their culture and their food is absolutely it's worth
it is.
And Mozambique, Vilanculos. Yeah, Mozambique, Vilanculos, beautiful. And South Africa as well. South Africa, there's a lot to explore in South Africa actually. It's a really good destination. I know it's just right there, but South Africa has a lot of stuff like, your Cape Town, your Titicamas. What's that other place that Africa sells a lot? Mpumalanga. I mean, there's so much to do. Yeah. So I think those are 6. Yeah, I think those 6. But travel more.
You gave me 6. So thank you so much for being on my little show. Because of Corona, I can't actually do this face to face until everything is a bit safe. But I hope everybody listening got some tips and places to go, and they know who to ask if they need some travel tips or some packages done. The Afronomads info will be in the description box below, so you can just tap into any one of their social media sites and contact them if you want to make a booking. Because that is where it's at. And I mean, listen, with all the tips they've given you, you don't usually get these anywhere else you go. They just usually just do the ticket for you and it's like, bye. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
All right. Have a good day.
Bye, you too.